2, 1.
All right, good Monday morning, everybody. It is time for KSAT News Now on a Monday, and I'm calling this, David, the first official bro show on KSAT News.
Bro show. I like that.
We're broing
Bro
down
show.
here, yeah. David
I
and
was just
myself.
walking by and they said, hey, can you know RJ, right? I said, yeah, I know who RJ is.
Yeah.
Just go over there and stand next to him and say a few words.
Right, yeah, we've done a couple of things in the past, mostly sports, you know. We'd obviously people that get pretty excited when we get to do sports on the 9 a.m. and get to cover Spurs and high school football, things like that. So
This will not be a 30-minute sports show. Because Sarah Spivey's here to do some weather, so we'll throw some weather in there for you, too.
Yeah, it can be, though.
It could be.
Okay,
Very well
yeah,
could be,
we'll make it easy on everyone here. Yeah, and of course, Sarah is going to be joining us here just a bit. David, getting into a lot of things this morning on KSAT News Now, including reaction to that shocking death of Bob Saget. That one's still a stunner there. A COVID vaccination pop-up site up and running this morning, and we got stick figure sports. We do have that. And breaking news about Hamilton at the Majestic. We'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that's tough. You know, we're missing a lot of people. I'm sure there's a lot of people watching right now that know somebody or know somebody who knows somebody who's sitting at home with COVID. Yeah. Because it seems to be going around. So if you're joining us now and you're suffering from that, well, good luck, and hopefully you can recover really fast and get back to whatever it is you do rather than sit at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, as we just mentioned, weather, we have that coming up. And Sarah's going to break up the bro down show.
Break up the bro show
a little bit. We're glad to have Sarah.
Did you ever want to be a bro, Sarah?
Yeah, I'm happy to be a bro today.
There you go.
Be awesome.
Part of the bro show.
Oh boy, yeah. Fun. Good to have some fun today on Monday. But unfortunately, David, we do start with the latest on this tragedy in New York City, this deadly fire in the Bronx. It's considered one of the deadliest there in decades.
Yeah, 19 dead, including 9 children. Smoke just covered all 19 floors of this building. Victims on every floor, most suffered from smoke inhalation. They went into respiratory and cardiac arrest.
Yeah, and of course, right now, fire officials saying that this fire started because of a bad space heater, and we see that a lot when things get cold and people use space heaters. And so, apparently, as we saw right there, smoke coming out of the building here. You know, there was apartment doors that were left open, doors to the stairwell left open. The fire started on the 2nd and 3rd floors. That's what the fire
200 firefighters ended up battling the blaze, and I think it was the fire chief, or they have kind of a different title up in there in New York, because they have so many different boroughs and what have you. And I think he was talking about how one of the major problems was because the door to the apartment was left open and the stairwell door was left open, that smoke was able to climb all through that entire building, and it made it hard for people to get out. It made it hard for people to, you know, find a space where there wasn't smoke, and it also made it hard for those firefighters to get in there. You see a firefighter bringing out a dog right there. It made it also hard for the firefighters to get in there and fight that fire. So, but one major thing that we did mention real quick, and I know this happens every year here in San Antonio, it was a bad space heater, a malfunction with their space heater. And I know a lot of folks here in San Antonio, because we don't have that long lasting winter, except for last year, that you'll go get a space heater, and now that'll be your warmth supply for the winter. You got to be very careful with those things, as you can see what can happen to a 19-story building in a place where, you know, space heaters are probably not unfamiliar to most people, but they might be a little familiar. So just be careful, because we know Fire Chief Hood always talks about when you use a space heater,
especially the placement of them and where to keep them there at your house if you do use them. I was listening to a podcast earlier, David. They were talking about how smoke was so bad that residents there could not see, as we mentioned, down the stairwell. They were really kind of scrambling to figure out what to do there, and of course firefighters responding there. And there's also news this morning about some donations that have been set up, some GoFundMe accounts and relief for the families of those victims there. Apparently one of the worst fires there in that city's history.
The other tragic thing that happened over the weekend, we lost one of our best comedians and famous actor, Bob Saget. He died in the Ritz-Carlton hotel room in Orlando. He was 65 years old. No foul play or drugs expected, just not real sure exactly why yet. They'll do an autopsy and find out, but you know, major figure in television.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know when you think of TGIF, remember that? That was a big ABC staple. Of course, Full House, he was on there. He played Danny Tanner for 8 seasons. America's Funniest Home Videos. I mean, that show has really not been the same since Bob Saget left that show, and so it was definitely a shocking death, and we have some reaction here.
Yeah, you can tell a lot of the cast members from the show Full House are just devastated. You can see right there from John Stamos, he tweeted this out: "I am broken, gutted. I'm in complete and utter shock. I will never ever have another friend like him. I love you so much, Bobby."
Yeah, and then David Coulier, who played Joey on there, he says, yeah, his heart was hurt, and some other reaction coming in from a lot of people, including people on our Facebook page. He also was the voice for How I Met Your Mother, too. So you think about that, 3 iconic either sitcoms or shows with America's Funniest Home Videos, and apparently, David, he just did a 2-hour set the other day, and he seemed like he was doing okay.
He was kind of talking about how much fun he had. He said, "I love this blank." And when he got back to his room, he even tweeted out his future schedule. And then a few hours later, he's gone. He leaves behind his wife, Kelly Rizzo, and he had 3, I believe, adult-aged daughters.
Yeah, so
sad situation.
And again, yeah, that tweet came on January 9th. He was in Jacksonville, and he said that, yeah, he's simply addicted to it all. And so it's a tough loss there. Again, a shocking loss, pretty much one of the big sort of celeb deaths in recent weeks here.
All right, another update for you. It's been 3 weeks now and still no sign of 3-year-old Lina Khil. Remember, she disappeared from that apartment playground on the city's northwest side, and it's now 3 weeks. It was last month. It seems like just so long ago, and it seems like just yesterday that she
and David, again here over the weekend, once again, members of the Afghan community, other volunteers meeting to search for Lina. So in the past 20 days, these volunteer groups have searched through ditches. You can see that right there, through all this brush and nearby creeks in hope of finding this little girl.
And you remember, she was the subject of an Amber Alert for nearly 3 weeks, but at the end of last week, that Amber Alert was lifted for Lina. It was discontinued, not because they use it for different reasons, and it was the I believe the it
was more of like a procedural thing.
Did the lifting, the DPS did the lifting, so so procedural thing. Yeah.
So the last that we heard about this from SAPD was that they received a tip that led them to that nearby creek, and we reported on that all last week, but there has not been any new information since. And again, these volunteers heading out there every weekend, any opportunity to get to hope maybe find some sign of Lina, and as time continues to go by, just kind of keeps getting just sadder. Just a tragic story there so far.
And we will keep you up to date on that story on our website, KSAT.com. And of course, if anything breaks, we will break in and have that for you there. And we'll also have it on our newscast, KSAT 12 News at noon, 5, 6, and 10 if something happens today.
Right.
One more thing we do want to make sure you are aware of is all the pop-up COVID-19 vaccination sites around San Antonio. We keep adding a few more. I know today is the addition of a 3rd testing site here in San Antonio, so that's a good thing.
Right, so we're doing some testing, obviously trying to get people vaccinated. So today's clinic, that one is at the Bexar County Jail. It runs until 5:30 tonight, and that's in front of the adult detention center there on North Kamal. So the vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine and booster shots are free, and of course no appointment is needed there.
And people who want to get the booster shot should bring their vaccination cards. Remember, may need that someday. You may need to show not just that you've been vaccinated, but also that you've been boosted if you want to go certain places and do certain things. So take that vaccination card with you so they can mark you down as boosted.
Right, and you're right, because even, David, I know we do a lot with the NBA, and they're even asking for updated cards with booster information as well. So, yeah, definitely need to get that taken care of.
They had to do that. Our sports staff had to update that to cover the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So I know Larry Ramirez had to do some work with that since he's going to go cover the Cowboys in the playoffs. So it's important that you keep that.
David,
and speaking of getting boosted,
COVID,
wow.
yes.
What can we do about it? You know what? I'm wearing out the migraine pills.
Yeah, guys, like Mountain Cedar is very high. I mean, this is in the pollen count today, and this is typically the time of year where we do see Mountain Cedar peak. Right. So we expect it every January to see the Mountain Cedar out there, but I mean, it's hard for many people to distinguish a cold from allergies, from COVID, and so every day we post the pollen count so that you can stay up to date. So one of the reasons why we saw the Mountain Cedar hike up, you want to take a guess?
The wind?
The wind, that's exactly right, David.
Blew it right
Well,
in.
good guess.
Meteorologist
I was thinking in my
David
head,
Sears.
I know, David's right.
You were thinking something scientific, weren't you?
I
just
was
went with
like
the wind.
pollination for the trees.
Well, the trees are pollinating and the wind picked it
Yes.
up, you
There
know,
we go.
and
That
that's
would make sense.
exactly why we've seen mountain cedar
But
spike
you know what's
up here.
funny is 4820 is high, and we're like the end of last year. Did we get to like 20,000
Yeah.
or something ridiculous like
Yes,
that?
we've been
Holy
higher than
man.
this. So it's
like-
been a long suffering season, but I do have some good news for you guys
Oh,
today.
please.
So even though, it's gusty out there right now, we are expecting after sunset the winds to start to calm down. So not only is that good for the mountain cedar count, but it's also good because that takes away the wind chill out there too. And so we are going to have cold weather to start the day tomorrow, but just not as windy. So for the rest of today, fairly good mix of sun and clouds out there. We'll be able to get up to about 57 degrees for the afternoon high temperature. And then again, once that sun sets at 5:54, we'll see the temperatures fall and the winds will start to calm down too. So that's some good news. Now, the last couple weeks we've gone up and down on a temperature roller coaster. It's more like a temperature bunny hill over the next few days here for us, because we are going to be able to warm back up into the 70s, but we're not expecting any kind of widespread freezes, and even with another front on Saturday we'll see temperatures drop. But no major swings in one way or another. So definitely sweater weather today and tomorrow, and short sleeves Thursday and Friday. But this is all typical for this time of year, in addition to the Mount Cedar. So hey, thanks for letting me be one of the bros.
Yeah, I
Wow.
was going
I
to say, Sarah
appreciate
Spivey crashing on the Bro Show today.
She added a little something to the Bro Show, didn't she?
She did, yeah. Always great to have
Brought it.
Sarah's perspective. And thanks again for being with us this morning,
Yeah,
Sarah.
thanks
Appreciate
guys
it.
for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
definitely.
Awesome.
Okay,
And
David.
thanks for bringing that news of Mountain Cedar.
Yes.
Wow.
We're going to be talking
Is it-
sports
is it
now.
stick figure?
This is it.
Is
It is
stick-
time. Stick figure sports. And
this is yours for today?
this is mine from today.
How'd you
Are
get yours
impressed?
up on the big board? I didn't know I was supposed to do all that. Wow, that's
You know what? I got a little, Kevin, our director
Oh,
here. We
he
got a little,
I guess I
We're
kept
in
mine.
symbiosis
I
here.
kept mine just simple. They fall in.
So, stick figure sports. The first
okay.
time we're doing a stick figure sports showdown.
Okay.
Right? This is
Okay.
this is going to be my
I didn't-
entry into.
yeah. Well, I had a lot of work to do. I didn't get a lot of
Oh, my
time to
God.
do
Okay,
the
so-
artistic. So mine is very simple. I don't know,
Yeah.
where can I go with this? Here, I'll
We're
just
looking at
walk
this
over.
camera there. Yeah.
Where's the camera? I'll just
Yeah.
walk
What
over
do you
here.
got, David? What do
Look
you
at
got
that.
for us?
Very simple. Just a bunch of guys walking off the court with their head down, like we lost again. That's all.
That's pretty good.
This guy up here, that's Pop. And
Yeah.
he's got his hands over his face going,
Yeah.
oh, again.
Yeah.
So that's.
You know what? Sometimes
I just kept it
simpler
simple.
is a
Yeah.
little bit easier,
Yeah.
because I kind of went a little bit all out here. Yeah, Spurs taking on Brooklyn yesterday. This was like a matinee game. This is
Yeah,
kind
what
of
time
bizarre.
does
there.
things start?
Like at 11 o'clock in the morning. It was weird.
That was early.
I drew Josh Primo there because Primo's been starting the
Okay.
past couple of weeks, one of the youngest Spurs ever in history, and I added Patty Mills there. It was weird to see Patty in a Nets uniform yesterday.
I'm liking the beard that you got on Patty.
That is a beard.
And the hair.
And his hair. And then
worked
I drew the subway there because we have 3 Spurs that hopefully are not on the subway, but 3 guys that are just missing from the court completely. Derek White, Cullen Johnson, Devin Vassell. And Coney Island right there, David. You ever been to Coney Island?
Never been to Coney Island, but they got a roller coaster and the Spurs are on it.
They definitely do, yeah.
Well, no, actually they're on the downhill side of this thing.
I
They got
know.
to get going
I
back
know.
up.
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
what was it? 1 of 5 on the road
Yeah,
trip,
yeah,
and
so
then
far.
they've lost 6 of 7.
Yeah, so they
after
get
that
the
3-game winning streak,
so
yeah,
they get
so-
the Knicks tonight, and hopefully they could snap out of that. Still missing a bunch of guys due to
Can
COVID.
you name 4 of the
protocols.
6?
4 of the 6 guys that
See.
are.
Well, you got Derek and Keldon.
Oh, Derek,
right there.
Keldon, Devin.
Oh, you got 3. Well, you got 3 of the 6.
Doug could be the other guy. Yeah, Doug could have
and,
been the other guy out.
I don't remember the other guys. It's like half the team.
Yeah, it's a lot of guys.
All I know is they got new guys on the team, and we got to learn how to pronounce a bunch of new names and talk about new guys that we don't really know that much about. But thank goodness that they're there.
Yes.
We're really be in trouble. So
Stick figure sports.
all right, so
showdown.
stick figure
Cowboys
sports. That's
time.
good. You got complicated and detailed and all that, and that's good. I just, like I said, I just do another
That's what
work.
we do
so I
here.
can have
That's
a
what we
time
do.
to just,
Okay.
sad faces.
Excuses, man. Excuses.
Cowboys, Saturday night. Dak Prescott sets a record for the Dallas Cowboys, who threw 5 touchdown passes. Let's hope he can bring that into next weekend when they take on the San Francisco 49ers
Ooh,
in the
here
NFC.
we go.
Is this like the super wild card round, or what did I see? Like super wild card round or something crazy?
Yeah,
like
there's like
just
7 games now.
Yeah.
There's a Monday night game,
There's a Monday
too.
night
This
game.
is weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
some
fun stuff now.
interesting scheduling.
So-
But, David, I mean, a lot of memories here. Did you cover
I've been
these
there.
games? You covered these games in the early 90s.
I covered the 49ers and the Cowboys, and I covered the 49ers and the Cowboys, and then for the third year in a row, covered the 49ers and the Cowboys. So, I mean, I don't know if for Cowboy fans who've been around a while, remember back in the early 90s when Dallas won the 2 back-to-back Super Bowls, they played the San Francisco 49ers in order to get to the Super Bowl. One was here, one was in San Francisco. They played at Candlestick back then.
Candlestick Park,
That's one of few places I've ever had beer thrown on me. So that was
only one?
One of few. It happened before. Well, you don't like to go to Oakland. Oakland is another story altogether.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just Oakland, Alameda. That's a nasty place, man. That was. I mean, but anyway, and then of course we're going to see how many times. I'm going with. I bet. Let's go 12. Is the over/under that you're going to see the pass from
The Dwight Clark.
The Dwight Clark catch.
Yes. Yeah. That game, Joe Montana obviously there. But
that was like 1981. Can we let that
so
go?
The Cowboys 49ers had this major rivalry in the 80s, NFC Championship games, and then again in the early 90s. You think of all the Hall of Famers that played in those games: Troy Aikman, Emmett Smith, obviously the Cowboys triplets, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, John Taylor. I mean, it was unbelievable stuff. I don't know if anyone's watching right now even remembers these players.
And of course, there was the game, the Deion Sanders on Michael Irvin pass interference, no call. That kind of cost the Cowboys that game, and they would have gone 3 times in a row to the Super Bowl. They didn't go that year, but they went the following year and won in Tempe, Arizona against
Pittsburgh. Yeah, that's right. All right, so the NFL playoffs, of course, start this weekend. We got Cowboys-Niners Sunday at 3:30, and again, we're going to have that Monday night game also on KSAT 12. That is going to be the Rams-Cardinals. So first time ever, there's been a wild card game on a Monday night. Pretty cool stuff.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
Cardinals.
Hey, there you
Cardinals
go.
have been like going the wrong way.
They're kind of they're like the
Spurs
Spurs here. Just
like
on this roller coaster ride. David, before we wrap things up, wanted to mention we talked about Hamilton off the top of
breaking
today's
news
KSAT News Now. Breaking news. They have now decided that they are going to be postponing the rest of their run here at the Majestic.
And why?
Well, they released a statement saying that regret to report remaining performances, and it's because of breakthrough cases within the company there of the Hamilton.
Don't know who. So. Don't know if it's George Washington or James Madison or Hamilton himself.
Aaron Burr.
Not sure who has COVID.
Thomas Jefferson.
It could be Thomas Jefferson, but you can't have Hamilton without those guys.
Yeah.
So,
definitely not. So for people that had tickets to the show, we know there was a lot. They said that they're going to work to reschedule some of these shows. Obviously, they will not be here in San Antonio, so that's going to be. We'll see what happens there moving forward. That's a bummer. Yeah. Are you a Broadway guy, musical guy?
No. Well, yeah, I'd like to, but I don't go much. But I saw Hamilton on, I think it was Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It is. There.
Yeah, the Lin-Manuel Miranda one. Yeah.
That was a fantastic show.
Yeah, it was really good, and I did manage to catch it Thursday before they had to postpone shows, and it was great live. So unfortunately, that's the case there. David, want us to go through a couple of Facebook comments? Kay Garcia Morgan, she was talking about Bob Saget. She said that Pete Davidson, the comedian, posted the loveliest note to him, thanking him for helping his mom when Pete was having mental health issues. So obviously the comedian, that community is always very tight. You see a lot of tributes coming in for Bob Saget there.
Yeah, he's going to be missed. That's for sure. And we know the tributes will continue. And I guess the investigation into how he died will continue. They'll do an autopsy and find out how he died. But he's going to be missed. And like once again, the cast of his show Full House, they're all just absolutely devastated. So the thing about it, as I was reading a little bit about him, he was a rather take it to the limit comedian. I mean, he pushed it.
Different persona than what was on Full House.
And
the
well,
TV
even
dad.
the producer was like, "Oh, we'll get him over here, and he'll be a family guy."
Right.
So it was kind of a dynamic from what he was on stage to what he was on TV as the dad in Full House. He had to pretty much change the way he went about being funny.
Yeah,
I think.
it was a little bit different, but still beloved.
Edgy is what they said.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
That's to describe it. So.
All right, David. So we have wrapped up our first.
Is that the end of the Bro Show?
That's it. We've gone through the Bro Show here.
So you can expect Alicia to be back tomorrow.
So I think we're going to get Priscilla back tomorrow.
Is Priscilla back
Yes,
tomorrow?
Priscilla's going to be here tomorrow, and then Alicia should be back on Wednesday. So we'll see.
Okay,
But
well,
we know
we'll
you're
see.
always walking around here on standby.
You got to have a brochure every now and then.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
All right,
so check out David. Going to be back. KSAT News. Yeah.
News at noon.
News at noon.
Ursula Perry's over there, so we'll have it for you. So we have a lot of updates for you on some of the news we just talked about. So
right, and
tune in.
And yeah, we thank you guys for chiming in with us. Facebook Live, checking us out on KSAT.com. You guys have a great Monday.
See you.